Paul Manafort was sentenced in Virginia on the case where he was convicted by a jury. He was convicted on 8 counts. They were primarily financial crimes. The sentence was for 47 months, which is approximately 4 years. But he's also been incarcerated at this point for 9 months, so he'll get credit for that time.
Mr. Manafort finally got to speak for himself. He made clear he accepts responsibility for his conduct.
The sentencing guidelines, which are determined based on criminal history and criminal conduct charged, were between 19 and 24 years for federal cases. Judges are required to consider what the recommended sentence is, but is allowed to depart from it and only has to take it under advisement. Following the judge in Virginia's sentencing, the legal community, a lot of people were saying that this was an inequity in the justice system and called the sentence lenient, which on its face could be considered lenient when he was facing 24 years and only received 4.
To drop down from 19 years to 24 years, all the way down to 4 years, I think suggests that the wealthy and the powerful do better in court than many other defendants do. And I think it is an attack on the legitimacy of the criminal justice system.
This sentence, in my view, failed to do justice to the very serious crimes that Manafort has committed.
Unfortunately, in the system of justice in America, that white-collar defendants do get less time than people of color, even for the same crime.
So how do you explain it?
That said, he still faces sentencing on the D.C. case where he pled guilty and entered into a cooperation agreement with Robert Mueller. And in that case, the judge will likely consider the fact that he violated the terms of that agreement in determining what an appropriate sentence is. And there's 2 types of sentencing that a judge can impose. There's concurrent and consecutive. Concurrent means that whatever the judge sentences, Paul Manafort would have to serve that simultaneously. If it was consecutive time, it would add on to the 4 years that he's already received. So if there was an additional 10 years that he was sentenced with, ultimately he would be serving 14 years. Paul Manafort is 69 years old. His health, since he was arrested, has been failing. He was in court in a wheelchair, and he's going to receive a functional life sentence. So even though this is 4 years and might seem on its face to be lenient, with the additional sentence, if he's in prison for upward of 10 years, that could be him spending the rest of his life in prison.
$47 months. Fair?
Well, it has to be a disappointment to the prosecution, and the prosecution was well deserved in trying to seek a longer term. Obviously, the judge has demonstrated some hostility before now to Robert Mueller.
Yes.
But the point is, there's going to be another reckoning for Manafort, and it will be a reckoning from a judge who has taken very serious note that he has shown no remorse and no respect for the law.
Now, I want to be clear. When he said to the judge, he spoke for about 4 minutes. He did not say he was sorry. He did not express remorse. We know that he had cooperated, and prosecutors said that cooperation was a load of baloney. They spent 50 hours questioning him because he kept lying and misleading, and he never really cooperated, even though he said he was. So 4 minutes he spoke to the judge. He said he felt humiliated and shamed, would be a gross understatement. The last 2 years have been the most difficult years for my family and I. Those are the things he talked about. He did not apologize. And yet this judge clearly taking his side. This is a judge who, I want to remind everyone, Senator, when this all started, said to Mueller's team, you don't care about Mr. Manafort's bank fraud. You really care about what information Manafort can give you that would reflect on Mr. Trump or lead to his prosecution or impeachment.
And I'm going to speak as a former prosecutor, as well as the Attorney General of the state, a federal prosecutor, as well as state Attorney General. This sentence, in my view, failed to do justice to the very serious crimes that Manafort has committed, as well as his utter disrespect for the law, feeling he is above the law, lying after his conviction about his giving polling data to the Russians while he was the Trump campaign manager, lying about his other conversations with the Russians, other kinds of untruths after his conviction.
And I want to be clear, a jury, right? A jury of his citizens, his fellow citizens, is who convicted him after a 3-week trial on all of these counts.